So often I'm asked, what's my goal for the McLaren? Where do you want to go? Obviously, I'm goal oriented. We want all the records. We want to be the first to everything. But when I'm asked, what is my goal is a wheelie. That is what I want to do. I want to do a wheelie in a McLaren. That is where I am going to be fully satisfied going forward. Back in the day, I believe that I did the first wheelie in a Nissan GTR, well, an R35 GTR at least. Back in the day, we were chasing records, going crazy. We were at the Wanna Go Fast Chicago half mile. We were going back and forth with boosting performance. Devin was, going a little bit faster than us in the half mile, and then we'd go a little bit faster, and we were going back and forth and back and forth. At the end of the day, we ended up winning, the Chicago half mile with running 214 miles an hour. After the run, I went back to his pits, and we talked, congratulated each other, and he was like, "Hey, launch that thing. I want to see it launch." I'm like, "All right, cool. I'll give it a launch." And I launched it in the parking lot there, and I felt like it had done a wheelie. I'm like, "This thing did a wheelie." And I went back to our pits, and then I ran over to everybody. I'm like, "Dude, I just did a wheelie in this thing." And they're like, "No, you didn't." I'm like, "No, I'm telling you." At that point, we were testing out a new suspension. We had worked with Strange Engineering, and we had all of this new suspension components on there, able to transfer the weight and everything. And I'm like, "I am telling you, I did a wheelie." So about a week later, we ended up going to the drag strip. So this was 2013, and this was our first outing with the new suspension, and we're giving it a try. And sure enough, we got the very first picture with wheels off the ground and an all-wheel drive to do a wheelie. It was like awesome. So that was a huge accomplishment for me. I was really pretty happy about that. Going forward to see these, the Audi R8s and the Lamborghinis pulling these power wheelies. Wheelies for me are just, that is an expression of, look at the amount of power I make, look at the amount of traction I have. Amy Paulo yanking the wheels on the R8 down track and riding it out. That is my goal. I want to do that with a McLaren. That's where it ends for me. I'm figuring the weight of the car, it's going to take a significant amount more horsepower than we currently have. It's going to take much bigger turbos. It's not going to be a factory-based turbo. I'm figuring north of 1,600 horsepower and a lot of traction. The engine in the back, the transmission in the back, that's going to help. I think eventually we're going to get to the point where those tires are going to come off the ground, and that's a big goal for me. To do a wheelie, you actually want the front suspension to droop more. You want the weight to come off the front as slowly as possible, so you get that front to droop down, allow that suspension, give it the momentum to come up and actually do that. You get to the point where, you're at maximum traction when your front tires are off the ground. But when it's too much, you talk to Jordan Martin about some of his bucking Bronco rides in the drag Lamborghini. It comes a point where you're going to have to start adding some more weight to the front. And I think we've got plans for that too. But I want to get to the point where we know we're using all the traction and all the horsepower we can. That's pulling those tires off the ground, and then we'll start working on throwing some more at the front. I think Eddie Bello with the Porsches has been able to do some wheelies on the streets and stuff like that. But I think, really a prep surface is what's gonna really make it easier. Eventually, yes, maybe you'll be able to do a wheelie on the street. That would be kind of cool, but that's going to take a lot. So yeah, when you start doing wheelies, things get a little bit crazy. For the McLaren, you have an open differential. That means one tire that has more traction can actually steer the car. Wheels coming off the ground might not be a great thing. It uses the brakes to kind of steer the car or direct the amount of torque that's making it to one tire or the other. I think we'll probably do an LSD prior to getting to that point to make sure that the tires have equal grip. Once the front tires are off the ground, you can't steer, you're along for the ride. So the longer you ride it out, if you can't see over the dash, you don't know where you're going, it gets a little bit dangerous. So you need to, be cautious about that. Sometimes tires will come off the ground, the car will start to go crooked, and your instinct is to steer. You're not steering, you're not going in that direction. However, when those tires come back down and you get grip, boom, you're going in that direction. So the best thing to do is, tires come off the ground, maybe lift a little bit or stay in it, see if it's going to come up any higher. But definitely keep your hands straight, and you're along for the ride at that point.
This month of VINwiki Car Stories is brought to you by Bridgestone, and the most exciting news out of Bridgestone is the brand new release of their Alenza Prestige tire. The Alenza Prestige highway tire is for drivers who want a long-lasting, elegant, and comfortable ride without compromising at all on wet weather performance. Amazing tire that features their next generation Enlighten technology, as well as their Quiet Track technology, an in-groove feature designed to reduce tread pattern noise combined with a wide center rib that helps to deliver a whisper quiet ride with comfortable and responsive handling. So check them out now at the link in the description below to learn more about the Alenza Prestige tires from Bridgestone and the entire Bridgestone family of products.